Congratulations. We all made it through the switch from daylight savings to standard time. Overnight, our days are much shorter, and I don't care what anyone says, I find it hard. One day we're cruising through summer with energy and motivation, and suddenly we're struggling to get out of bed when it's still dark at 7 a.m. I noticed this shift happening to me a few years back. I'd been energetic and enthusiastic all summer, feeling on top of everything. Then fall and cooler weather rolled around, my energy tanked, my motivation disappeared, and I wanted to curl up and take a very long nap. But here's what I've learned. I'm not broken and I'm not lazy. My body is responding exactly as it should to shorter days and less sunlight. The problem isn't us. It's that most of us try to power through fall and winter with the same expectations we had in June. Today, I'm going to share my three-pronged plan that transformed how I experience fall. I'll cover adjusting our mindset, creating a cozy sanctuary, and tackling practical prep that prevents seasonal stress. Let's start with what's actually happening in our body. When daylight hours shorten, our brain produces more melatonin and less serotonin. Melatonin helps us fall asleep, and serotonin helps us feel awake and energetic. That's not a character flaw, that's biology. Our circadian rhythm is literally shifting, and fighting it just makes everything harder. The breakthrough came when I stopped trying to be a summer person in a fall body. I started honoring what my energy actually felt like, not what I thought it should feel like. Here's how to make this shift work for you. First, reframe your productivity expectations. In summer, we might tackle 3 big projects because we have long hours of sunlight and lots of warmth. In fall, maybe it's just one project. Both approaches have value, they're just different seasons of work. Next, create a morning light ritual, Light, that supports your shifting biology. I wake up and walk into a heated bathroom because we love to sleep in the cold, but we independently heat the bathroom. This is such a treat first thing in the morning. Now, you might choose to turn on lots of soft lighting to stir your brain or use those slow lighting bulbs that are now on the market. I always dress before coming downstairs and then sit on our porch with my coffee, even if I have to use a heater and blanket. If it's really too cold outside, then I sit in my favorite chair by the window. These aren't huge changes, but they signal to my brain that it's time to be awake and alert. We also want to adjust our daily schedules to maximize the natural light exposure. Sunlight is critical for circadian rhythms. 20 minutes outside each day or by window is really important for our health. I move most of my important work to late morning when the light is strongest. My desk faces the window and gets good morning light. I require a lot of natural light for my mental health. I schedule outdoor errands for early afternoon when it's warmest and brightest. Next, now this might seem obvious, but it's revolutionary when we actually do it. Build buffer time into everything. Our body naturally wants to move slower in fall, so stop fighting it. If something usually takes 30 minutes, give yourself 45. If we normally need 20 minutes to get ready, allow 30. We are wearing more layers. It does take longer. I started building in more time to accomplish things, and the relief was immediate. Instead of constantly feeling behind and rushed, I felt spacious and calm. I wasn't more productive in terms of speed, but I was more effective because I wasn't stressed and scattered. The key insight here is that working with our natural rhythms isn't giving up, it's strategic. We're not lowering our standards, we're adjusting our approach to match our reality. When we align our expectations with our actual energy patterns, something wonderful happens. We stop wasting energy, fighting ourselves, and start channeling it towards what really matters. We feel more capable because we're working with our strengths instead of against them. Now, I want to be clear about something. That doesn't mean becoming lazy or giving up on your goals. It means becoming smarter about how we pursue them. A lot of my meaningful work has happened during fall and winter, precisely because I learned to follow my natural rhythms instead of forcing summer productivity. The biggest challenge I see women struggle with is perfectionism and not asking for help. We might think we need to transform our entire mindset overnight. That is a recipe for overwhelm and giving up. Instead, think of this as a gradual transition that mirrors the season itself. Fall doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow shift from summer to winter. Our intentional fall rhythm can develop the same way. Next, let's talk about creating our fall haven. Our environment shapes our energy more than we might realize. When the outside becomes darker and colder, our home should become a sanctuary that supports and nurtures our well-being. This isn't about expensive renovations or Pinterest perfect spaces. It's about creating an environment that feels like a warm hug when we walk through the door, especially on those days when everything outside feels gray. Let's start with textures. Because they're one of the fastest ways to transform how a space feels, I'm talking about layering soft elements throughout our living areas. Throw blankets draped over chairs, plush pillows on the couch, a soft rug underfoot. These aren't just decorative, they're functional comfort tools. When I first started doing this, I was surprised by how much it affected my mood. Just having a soft blanket nearby made me feel more relaxed, like I had permission to slow down and rest when I needed it. It's amazing how something so simple can shift our entire relationship with our space. Now let's talk about lighting. This is where we can really combat those shorter days. Harsh overhead lights feel wrong when our body is craving warmth and gentleness. Instead, layer warm, soft lighting throughout your home. Table lamps, floor lamps, string lights, candles, fireplaces, anything that creates pools of golden light rather than bright clinical illumination. Now, we use warm tone LED lights, which gives our home a soft look. My home feels more inviting in the evening, and I naturally wind down instead of staying wired until bedtime. While watching TV in the evenings, we turn out all the lights in the room and only leave on one small table lamp that gives off a warm glow. The lighting is actually helping my circadian rhythm adjust to the season and helps me fall asleep faster by encouraging melatonin. Don't overlook the power of scent to create our cozy sanctuary. Seasonal scents can boost our mood and create a sense of calm that supports our slower pace. We're talking about warm, comforting fragrances, vanilla, cinnamon, cedar, pine, whatever makes you happy. Now, I keep a diffuser in my kitchen and use it with seasonal essential oils. I usually have a scented candle burning in my office, and when I walk into a space that smells good, it makes me happy. It's like my nervous system gets the message that this is a safe place to relax, and that also means I can get work done. Personal touches become even more important during those darker months because they remind us of a connection when the outside world feels very dormant. This might be photos, artwork that makes us smile, or seasonal decorations that really bring us some happiness. The key is choosing items that genuinely lift our spirits, not just things that look good. Create dedicated cozy nooks for rest and reflection. This doesn't require a whole room. It could be a comfortable chair by the window with good light for reading, or a corner of your bedroom with soft pillows or a coffee bar for morning coffee. The important thing is having a designated space that's just for comfort and restoration. I carved out a small reading corner in my living room with a comfortable chair, soft throw, and side table for my coffee. Having that dedicated space for quiet time made such a difference. It gives me permission to take breaks and remind me that rest is productive too. Now, color plays a huge role in fighting seasonal blues. We want warm, nurturing tones that feel like sunshine when the real sun is hiding. Think deep oranges, rich burgundies, warm browns, and golden yellows. These don't have to be wall colors. They can come through in pillows, artwork, or seasonal decorations. Social media is full of perfectly curated fall content. We'll see homes that look like magazine spreads and women who seem to have seamlessly made the transition into autumn goddess. Remember, what we're seeing are highlight reels. They are not reality. Our version of an intentional fall doesn't need to look like anyone else's. The goal isn't perfection or expensive makeovers. It's about creating an environment that works with our fall energy instead of against it. When our space supports our natural rhythms, we'll find it easier to embrace the slower, more intentional pace. With our mindset adjusted and our sanctuary created, let's tackle the practical side: stress reducing home maintenance. Now, fall maintenance isn't about being a perfectionist. It's about preventing stress during the months when we're already dealing with less energy and shorter days. Now, I'm lucky. I live in the Southeast and we don't have harsh winters, but it does get below freezing. We have heavy rains and freezing rain and occasional snow. When our heating system breaks down in January or our gutters overflow during the first winter storm, those aren't just inconveniences. They're major stressors and are hitting us when we're least equipped to handle them. Fall preparation is about being strategic. When we take care of those tasks while the weather is still decent and our energy is more stable, we're creating a foundation of security for the harder months ahead. Let's start with our heating system, because this is a non-negotiable in most parts of the country. Before we actually need heat, have your furnace or HVAC system inspected and serviced. This means changing filters, cleaning vents, having a professional check that everything is running efficiently. I know it feels like an expense that we don't really need right now, but trust me, it's so much cheaper than an emergency repair in December. In fact, our HVAC system is auto-scheduled for quarterly checkup. The company calls me when it's due. I just schedule the date. When that first cold snap hits and my heat kicks on, I congratulate my past self who took care of this when it was easy. Next, let's talk about sealing windows and doors, because this directly supports that cozy sanctuary we're creating. Check for drafts around windows and doors and seal any gaps with weather stripping or caulk. This isn't just about saving money on heating bills, though we will. It's about maintaining that warm, comfortable environment that supports our fall rhythms. Anywhere you find a draft, add weather stripping. It's amazing how much more comfortable your home feels when cold isn't sneaking in. Bonus, you won't need to weather strip again for a long time. In fact, my husband spent time yesterday going around our house looking for drafts around the doors and adding weather stripping. Our gutters and roof need attention before winter weather arrives. I have this done twice a year, along with having all the pine straw cleaned off the roof. I think that might be a Southeast thing. They do an overall roof inspection as well and report any damages. Clean gutters and roofs prevent ice dams and water damage, while a roof inspection can catch small problems before they become major leaks. When I schedule the date, I make a note in my calendar a year from that time to make the next appointment. The same goes for our annual tankless hot water heater drain and check. I know this feels overwhelming, but we can hire professionals for the dangerous parts and handle the ground level stuff ourselves. The key is not letting perfect be the enemy of good. Do what we can safely and get help for the rest. Now, don't forget about our lawn and garden preparation. Rake leaves, plant spring bulbs, and put our garden beds to sleep for winter. There's something deeply satisfying about helping our outdoor spaces transition into dormancy. It mirrors what we're doing with our own energy. Store outdoor furniture, drain hoses, and winterize any exterior elements that could be damaged by freezing temperatures. I create a simple checklist and involve the whole family to tackle the tasks over several weekends rather than trying to do everything at once. The goal is progress, not perfection. Finally, stock up on comfort essentials and emergency supplies. This means extra batteries, flashlights, non-perishable comfort foods that include chips, popcorn, and chocolate, and any medications we might need if we get snowed in or don't want to leave the house. We keep a hearty emergency kit with basics, including shelf-stable foods that are yummy. If a winter storm hits or I'm having a particularly difficult day, I do not need to worry about whether I have what I need to take care of myself and my family. November is our practical prep month. The urgency of winter approaching should motivate us to tackle those maintenance tasks, but we still have decent weather for outdoor work. Plus, completing these tasks right before the holidays means we can fully enjoy the season without worrying about home emergencies. The beautiful thing about this practical preparation is how it supports everything else we're doing. When our home is functioning well and we're not worried about potential problems, we have more mental and emotional energy for the inner work of adjusting to the season. These three steps work together to create an intentional fall experience. When we combine these three areas, the inner shift, our cozy sanctuary, and practical preparation, something powerful happens. They don't just work individually, they amplify each other to create a completely different experience of fall. The inner shift gives us permission to slow down. The cozy sanctuary provides the physical environment that supports that slower pace. The practical prep removes the stress and worry that could derail our intentional approach. Together, they create a foundation for enjoying fall. I want to give us a realistic timeline for implementing these changes because rushing defeats the purpose of creating a more intentional rhythm. Give ourselves the entire cold weather season to work on our inner shift. This isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice of choosing to work with our energy instead of against it. Here's something important I've learned. Some years will be harder than others, and that's completely normal. I've had falls where I implemented all three steps beautifully and felt like I had mastered seasonal living. I've also had falls where I barely managed to get enough sunlight and called it good enough. The beautiful thing about this three-prong approach is that it becomes a template we can use year after year, adjusting it based on what our life looks like in any given season. Some years we might focus more heavily on the practical prep. Other years, the inner shift work might be more important because we're navigating other life challenges. Start with whichever area feels most manageable right now. Small changes compound into big shifts when we're consistent with them. So if you've been feeling a shift right now, you're not lazy, you're in season. If this approach resonates with you, please share your own fall prep wins and challenges in the comments. We would love to hear from you, and we learn so much from hearing how you adapt these ideas to your unique situations. Please like, subscribe, and share, and come back next time. Thank you for spending time with me. Remember, we're friends creating their best lives one week at a time. Cheers.